Welcome back to Literature Guide. Today's video is about one of the important forms of the social novel. I am talking about the thesis novel. It is also known as Roman a thèse in French. The earliest example of the thesis novel is The Adventures of Caleb Williams by William Godwin. This video contains all the important information about the thesis novel, including its features and some important examples. This video will be important for the students who are pursuing the NET and SET examinations and the other competitive exams. I have already produced two important videos, the Gothic novel and the campus novel. You can watch those videos and you will get useful information about those two forms of English novel. This video will also be useful for you because I have stuffed important information into the video. I have designed the video from the examination point of view and I have tried my level best to provide you useful and important information. I don't want to waste your time. Let's take a leap into the video and enjoy it.
Thesis novel. The thesis novel is one of the subforms of the social novel. It is also known as roman a thèse in French. The thesis novel concerns with the evils and flaws of society. It has didactic and radical purpose. The primary function of the thesis novel is to persuade people to support a particular social, political, religious and philosophical cause. The thesis novel deals with the problems like poverty, unemployment, child labor, exploitation, poor housing and sanitation, injustice, discrimination, plight of the working class, freedom and rights of women. It is important to note that the thesis novel not only draws attention to some problem but proposes a solution to it. It appeals the people to hold a specific view and attitude toward a social, political or religious issue of the period. There is a slight difference between the problem novel and the thesis novel. The problem novel is a story with a purpose, whereas the thesis novel is written for a purpose. The thesis novel is written for some reform in society and the eradication of social evils. The thesis novel presents a character or a section of society under a precarious condition and suggests some remedy to the problem. The thesis novels are meant for the mature and grown-up people. The novelist throws light on the vices and evil conventions of a wicked world and suggests reform. The thesis novel is called as propaganda novel. In brief, the thesis novels have been written to influence public opinion. Elizabeth Inchbald produced a novel Nature and Art which was published in 1736. It deals with the lifestyle of two brothers, William and Henry. In Nature and Art, Elizabeth Inchbald has described the effect of a simple and natural upbringing as compared to the distorting effects of civilization. Nature and Art satirizes social conventions. It puts stress on a proper education of people. The earliest and finest example of the thesis novel is William Godwin's novel The Adventures of Caleb Williams. It was published in 1794. The Adventures of Caleb Williams is also known as Things as They Are. William Godwin's Caleb Williams presents a contrast between the powerful group of society and the weak people. It focuses the tyranny and ruthlessness of the rich and penury and helplessness of the poor. In The Adventures of Caleb Williams, William Godwin commented upon the oppression of the law. The Adventures of Hugh Trevor of Thomas Holcroft appeared in 1794. It imparts message of liberty, equality and fraternity. It is important to note that the novel was influenced by William Godwin's radical philosophy. Charles Dickens's novel Oliver Twist is a story of a boy who falls in the hands of the gang of the thieves. Oliver Twist goes through many ordeals. In Oliver Twist, Charles Dickens has attacked Jeremy Bentham's theory of utilitarianism and the New Poor Law of 1834. Oliver Twist comments upon the suffering and hardships of poor city children. Oliver Twist was published in 1837. Francis Trollope's novel Michael Armstrong, Factory Boy appeared in 1840. It deals with the plight of children working in the textile mills. The novel imparts the message that private charity and philanthropy cannot bring relief to the working class. It is not a solution of the problems of factory workers. The novel describes a miserable condition of a factory boy. Mary Barton, A Tale of Manchester Life of Elizabeth Gaskell appeared on the literary scene in 1848. It presents the conflict between mill workers and mill owners. The novel was appreciated by Thomas Carlyle and Charles Dickens. The novel presents a realistic picture of the evils of the intensively industrialized districts. Charlotte Bronte's novel Shirley presents the disastrous effect of labor-saving machines on the life of working class. The novel, Shirley, comments on a social issue. According to Charlotte Bronte, Shirley is as unromantic as Monday Morning. Shirley was published in 1849. Charles Kingsley's novel, Alton Locke, Tailor and Poet, an autobiography was published in 1850. It is forceful social criticism of Charles Kingsley. Alton Locke experiences the suffering and pain of the workers of the clothing factory. It is said that the character of Sandy Mackay, a bookseller, is modeled on Thomas Carlyle. Charles Kingsley's novel Alton Locke is one of the masterpieces of propagandist literature. Another novel of Charles Kingsley, namely Yeast, A Problem, appeared in 1851. The novel is concerned with social evils and religious problems of the time. Lancelot Smith is the protagonist of the novel. In the novel, Charles Kingsley has recorded the plight of the rural workers. Charles Dickens's novel Bleak House comments upon the abuses of the old Court of Chancery. It criticizes the ruthlessness and indifference of the rich and powerful people. Charles Dickens's novel Bleak House was published in 1852. Bleak House deals with the miseries and suffering of the poor working class. There is fine interplay of the comic and serious in the novel. Most of the novels of Charles Dickens deal with one or the other social issue. The finest example of the thesis novel is Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. The novel was published in 1852. The novel is also known as Life Among the Lowly. Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin is a severe attack on the malpractice of slave trade. It is said that the novel moved President Abraham Lincoln to great extent. The novel deals with the story of Uncle Tom, who is sold by Shelby, his master, to meet his debts. Uncle Tom is terribly beaten to death by a ruthless cotton plantation owner of New Orleans. The novel has a subplot which describes the escape of Shelby's slaves Eliza, George and their child. Another novel of Elizabeth Gaskell, North and South, presents a contrast between the lifestyle of rural southern England and industrial northern England. Elizabeth Gaskell's novel North and South appeared in 1855. It deals with the clash between the manufacturers and factory workers. Victor Hugo's Les Miserables is a thesis novel which was published in 1862. Charles Reade's novel Hard Cash, A Matter of Fact Romance appeared in 1863. Charles Reade's Hard Cash is a brutal attack on the badly administered asylum system in mid-Victorian Britain. George Eliot's novel Felix Holt, The Radical, is set in Loamshire. The novel was published in 1866. Felix Holt comments upon the corrupt election tactics employed by the candidates. The novel presents a contrast between Harold Transome and Felix Holt. Harold offers beer bottles at the local workers to gain their support in the election. Felix Holt makes the people aware of their self-worth and dignity. Samuel Butler's novel The Way of All Flesh satirizes the Victorian perspective of family life and morality. The novel appeared in 1903. Overton is the narrator of The Way of All Flesh. The novel is highly autobiographical and it comments upon the evils of ecclesiastical upbringing. Upton Sinclair's novel The Jungle unfolds a malpractice in a meat-packing factory in Chicago. The novel was published in 1906. Another fine example of a thesis novel is The Ragged-Trousered Philanthropist of Robert Tressel. The novel was published in 1914. It is set in Mugsborough. The Ragged-Trousered Philanthropist deals with the plight of the poor house painters who embrace their destiny without any complaint. The novel comments on the condition of the poor working class, which has no other option but to strangulate themselves due to unbearable pain and suffering. It is interesting to note that Robert Tressel called the painters as philanthropist. Robert Tressel is a penom of the Irish writer Robert Noonan. The novel The Ragged-Trousered Philanthropist is an autobiographical account of the writer. George Orwell praised the novel and commented, "A book that everyone should read." Love on the Dole of Walter Greenwood appeared in 1933. The novel was produced with reformatory spirit. It presents the Depression period of 1930s. Like other thesis novels, Love on the Dole also deals with the miseries and hardships of the working class. Winifred Holtby's novel South Riding holds some features of a thesis novel. It was published in 1936. The character, Joe, fights for the rights of the poor and downtrodden. The major character of the novel is Sarah Burton, who is an idealistic headmistress of the School of Yorkshire. Jean-Paul Sartre's La Nausée is the finest example of a thesis novel which appeared in 1938. Alan Paton's Cry, The Beloved Country is a thesis novel. It was published in 1948. The novel deals with the problem of racism and economic disparity in South Africa. The novel, Cry, The Beloved Country comments upon the breaking down of the tribal system and disintegration of the tribal community. Stephen Khumalo is the protagonist of the novel. Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man can also be deemed as a thesis novel. It appeared in 1952. It deals with the experiences of a young African American in New York. The novel, Invisible Man, comments upon many social and intellectual issues. It has an unnamed narrator. Thus, all these thesis novels were produced for a purpose of social reform and focused some social and political issues. Some novelists have recorded their personal experiences in their novels. These thesis novels present realistic picture of life.
How is the video? I hope you liked the video. I will meet you soon with a new topic in a few days. I have already mentioned that I have produced 2 videos on 2 different forms of English novel, the Gothic novel and the campus novel. You can watch those videos, and I will produce many videos like this one in future also. You will get a lot of information about English literature and criticism. I am thankful to all my subscribers and the people who have given staunch support to this channel. I am also thankful to the non-subscribers who just visit my channel and watch my videos. I am thankful to them, and I expect the same support in future also. Meet you soon with a new video. Meet you.
Please subscribe Literature Guide.